What is going on, Sim community? We are back again. Another video. Gedden and myself. We're back. We're back. So episode number 5, and tonight we have a jam-packed show for you. We have a number of topics that we've come up with that have been in the news over the past week or so, and yeah, so we're excited to be back. I can't believe it's episode number 5, and that's it, man. What's going on, Gedden? How are you?
Cinco episodes. Yeah. This is interesting. We're getting there. You know, pretty soon we're gonna have 10. The next thing you know, we're gonna have 100. Next thing you know, we're gonna be on 1,000 show with at least 200 subscribers.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. I know that you guys are liking the videos, and I'm seeing more downloads on the iTunes podcast. So I guess some people want to listen to us. But like I said, this is a live show. So everybody who's out there, who's in the chat and watching, if you want to come on the show or you have anything that you want to say that's important, feel free to jump on and we'll have you on. In addition, we record the show. We put it on for replay, whether it be on YouTube or iTunes or Stitcher. So we have plenty of opportunities for you guys to catch it. And I'm excited about this show, man. We have a lot to talk about. So real quick before that, anything going on? You've been playing any games over the past week or so that you wanted to mention?
I've been playing a lot of Mario Odyssey. That game is going to have me playing that game. Oh, I'm going to be playing that game for quite a long time, possibly into the spring, possibly winter, spring. Summer. I mean, but yeah, that I've been playing that game. I just downloaded or bought Doom for the Nintendo Switch. That game runs and looks beautiful, even though it's running at 30. I didn't notice that it runs at 30 as opposed to the 60 frames and the higher resolution on your Xbox Ones, PS4s. But yeah, those two games been playing quite a bit lately, and either sometime this week I will be purchasing Rocket League. I heard that game was great. Never played it before, so I think this is the perfect time for me to not only show support for third party on a Nintendo platform, but to actually get into that genre of arcade sports mashup type of fun multiplayer games. I heard that game was really good. I keep hearing great things about it. So yeah, man. What about you? What you been playing?
Well, I've been busy with family. I had family come up this past week, so I didn't have too much time to do much in the gaming. I mean, I've played, I think over the past week or so, I've played some all-pro football. That's always something I jump into. And today I was, meddling around with Backbreaker and the editor and all that. And if we have time, I'll talk about that later, as I mentioned to you. But nothing, just chilling, man. My kid's sick today, so I've been, working with him and making sure that he's all good and happy. And but you mentioned Rocket League, and you'll be in for a treat, man. I bought that game for the PC, and it's amazing, dude. The music alone, the soundtrack. I mean, it's not hip hop or anything, but I mean, the soundtrack is amazing. It's
right.
It's really, really, really like. It just brings you into the game and immerses you into it, and the DLC in that game, even though I know we don't love DLC here, but the upgrades that they do in there, the stadiums, the grass. I mean, take a look at the grass when you play that game, because that's the kind of grass that we need to have in a football game. It's amazing what they do. So yeah, you'll have fun with that. When I first got it, I didn't think that I didn't think of it as like a simulation sports game. But that game is all about stick skills and strategy, and it's really, really geared towards people that try to learn a skill. And what's cool about it, not to get too deep into it, but what's cool about it, I kind of compare it to a game called The Golf Club. If you guys ever played that before.
Yeah.
It's the type of game where everybody has the same ability. Like you get one car, and you can get multiple in your garage, but you're on the field with one car, and that one car is the same exact speed, I'm pretty sure same speed, physics, everything that as the other cards are, or cars are. And same thing with the golf club. The golf club is, they're all the same player. So you get the same distance, the same hit. And I don't love it per se, but it levels the playing field, and it gives everybody the opportunity to go out there and no one has a leg up because they've been grinding or spending money on, you know,
Right.
upgrades or whatever. So I like that part of it. So I think you'll enjoy that for sure.
Awesome. Thanks for that.
Yep.
I hope your kid feels better as well.
Hey man, thanks. I mean, he got some temperature last night, so hopefully he gets past it by tomorrow. We'll see. But tonight we got a fun show. There's some things that we noticed during the week, and we have them on the site here. So we'll go through them. And as always, this show could take any turn, depending on who comes on or who jumps in the chat. So like I said, get involved. We're seeing you guys out there, and we want you guys to be part of the show. This is why we're doing it. We're doing it for you, for us as a community, to share our thoughts, to get our voices out there, as we keep saying. So let's get moving. So the first topic of the show is about EA Sports. EA Sports is doing a lot in the past week or so from what we're seeing. And as a business, they had some news about a new subscription model. So it sounds like they're planning to, in the future, at some point, I don't know if it tells us in the article, I'll let Gedden, if you have that information, you can chime in, but they have plans to change their model from a yearly release cycle to a subscription model. So this is something that we saw last week, and I think it's something that we've wanted for a long time as gamers. I think a lot of the sports companies are going towards this model, whether they realize it or not. But what does that mean for Madden? What does that mean for NBA Live and FIFA and all of the sports games that EA makes? So Gedden, what are your thoughts on that? What do you think?
You can hear me okay, right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Hear me good? Okay, great. I just had a incoming call and kind of messed with the sound. I heard every word you said, though. Well, my thoughts on, you see, it's a plethora of thoughts, very layered. But this is the thing. EA is kind of throwing this out there as if, or the article, not so much EA, but the article, the person who wrote it, of course, he was paid by EA. Let's just get that out to the forefront. But they're throwing it out there as if this would help their game development. Now, this article is written for, the casual reader who don't really understand how games or even sports games are made. Now, any sports game, just about, they have multiple dev teams creating the game, and they're on their own cycles. Dev team A will be on even years, just for an example. Dev team B will be on odd years, and dev team C, if it's possible, they might be either testing the game, working on different modes, or just research and development. So they already have this model in play right now, it's just, in a way, a PR stunt. It's just a ploy, just so that they could cut out a middleman and they can make more money. You can make a whole lot more money having somebody pay a service for a game than just buying the game straight up. The game is $60. You can have the service for, I don't know, say $10 or $5 a month, right? There, you've already reached beyond the $60. You can have it $4 a month, whatever. And you've already reached it's a small number per month, but you've already made your money. Then you throw in MUT. And then, the thing that I really just took away from this whole article was, EA really just showed their ass just now. They're basically saying, yeah, their game is just a update anyway. So why not have a service where you're not buying the game, you're just downloading it, and then you're just downloading updates to keep the game up to date. It's a yearly not even a yearly cycle. It's a ever growing cycle type of thing. I mean, you could try to be optimistic about it, but whenever a marketing giant like EA talks about a service like this, I just look at it and just see how bad that could be for a particular genre, or even a or for the user, you know, the consumer out there. It's not going to be good. I mean, it's bad enough EA is the only one that can make an NFL game. You know, you see what the innovations that they didn't do already. So I could just imagine how bad this would be. Those are my thoughts, man.
Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings on it, because I think if it's done the right way, then I think it could be successful for a company. I don't know if EA in particular has the type of vision or leadership to be able to actually put out a product that has that kind of quality in terms of a subscription model, because I know a lot of people complain about paying for a roster update. Nobody wants that. Nobody just wants to pay for a roster update. We know that. But at the same time, you know, if, like you say, which you have a good point, if they're waiting, because right now, let's face it, with the annual releases that they have, they do things for this entire 6 months, 8 months, whatever the dev cycle is. They do things behind the scenes, and it's all about what can they bring to the table to put on the box to catch people's eye, to say, oh, we have a brand new mode or a brand new feature or a new play style or whatever it might be. And, you know, think of this too, the cover art. I mean, they have contests for the cover art to be shown and what player is going to win, you know, the cover and all that. And I guess they can still try to do something with that. I don't know. But there are so many things that get wrapped into the business side from a PR standpoint, a marketing standpoint, that will be affected by not having a yearly release. And to me, a lot of it's fluff. You know, a lot of it are things that they just, you know, hold back on and don't tell anyone about, and then surprise us with things that, you know, a lot of us really don't even care about, because it's not the core gameplay. It's the bells and whistles that we really don't even have time for or interest in, right? Because we want the gameplay to be fixed and upgraded from the inside out. And so the annual release, so I'm just trying to think out loud now, like how I feel, because the annual release on one side of it, having it can be good because it gives them the ability to focus on a larger scale dev cycle with the parallel teams if they have that strategy, and they can put out larger upgrades. But at the same time, even if they have a subscription model, they can still do those types of major feature upgrades and just charge people an extra $5 or $10 or whatever the upgrade fee would be to, you know, to move to that next level of features. So I don't think it would stop them. But the problem that they would be walking into with the subscription model would be they'd have to be able to find an intelligent way, a strategic way to be able to keep people interested in the game, and also find a way to make it profitable for them so that people aren't just getting the game for free. If their plan, which I just thought of this, if their plan is to make it one-time service, or you subscribe to it, and they're planning to focus their attention on the DLC, because that's going to be their recurring revenue and their ability to increase their revenue stream, then we're screwed. As a sim community, we're screwed, because that means that they're not going to focus on the main features that we want. They're going to give us more of the MUT, more of the DLC, things that we don't care about. But if they're not going to look at, you know, the yearly model, then that might be where they go. And if that happens, that scares the hell out of me.
Yeah. You bring up an insanely great point. And maybe we could go into the next topic, but you say that they were, you know, thinking about just giving us the upgrade and how screwed we're going to get. You're 100% right. And it's just, I just know this is where EA wants to go, because Rex Dickson just had an interview, which we're going to talk about shortly. He was talking about exactly that. And I'm not too sure if they had an interview before or after, but he was talking about exactly that, having the code, you can move it around a lot, and maybe we don't need yearly installments anymore. I thought that was a great point you just brought up.
I mean, I mean, based on the technology and where we are as a community and as an industry, we obviously are set. I mean, a lot of what the CEO says for EA, Andrew Wilson, he quotes in that article that they really want to mirror what they have and kind of mimic what they're doing with the NBA Live on mobile, from what I read. So they have a model, actually not NBA Live, I'm sorry, it was EA Sports Madden mobile, and it has regular updated updates for the past 3 years being on the market. And he said that its user growth is what does it say? It said Wilson cited that game specifically for its user growth as a successful test of the subscription model. So Madden Mobile is a subscribe. I don't even know if I have it. I think I've downloaded. I thought it was free. I downloaded it at one point. But they're obviously trying to, have a proof of concept in the mobile industry. But mobile is a different type of consumer, right? If you're a mobile guy, you want it on the go. You're not used to paying for annual releases. So that's a whole nother thing that they need to be careful about. But, I personally don't really have an opinion on annual releases or not. I think if it was 2K making a game, I'd be happy either way, whether you do annual or subscription based. I'd give them whatever money they need to make a product that I can actually enjoy and play. And I don't care when they want to release it. But we do have, my point right here was that we do have the infrastructure with the way technology is. And by the way, I forgot to show this baby, this custom shirt I got. Nice. Yeah. So yeah. I never wear it because it came out like trash, but I love the logo. But my point was about the fact that we're just like with everything else, with the internet, with videos, YouTube, streaming, all of these things that are happening now, Netflix, all of the cable providers are, losing, their shirts out there because the infrastructure is so strong that putting out these downloadable services are, there for the taking. And you look at the games today, I mean, even when you want to buy the latest version of a game, we just download it. A lot of people, I still go to the store and buy it. I like having my hard copy, but a lot of folks, they just hit the download button and they have the internet speed to just get, full access to a game right then and there. So I think that the industry is ready for it, but I think that they need to be very careful, because what are they going to be releasing to give people a reason to justify a purchase? And if it's not a purchase, then if it's a subscription, even worse. I'm subscribing to you and I'm paying you monthly or whatever the frequency is for what? It better be worth my money. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I don't think we're saying, or just to be clear on my side, I'm not trying to say that it's a horrible idea or it's gonna fail in terms of a software or a tech standpoint. I think that we have to look at who is doing it and what they're actually giving us. Now, what EA has given us in the past when it came to Madden, they haven't properly innovated, not due to lack of trying or even lack of, actually is lack of trying, but not lack of a dev cycle. They have ample enough time. Other companies that make less money than EA prove that it doesn't matter your dev cycle. If you have the right development philosophy or the right people working on your games, you're going to make a great, compelling game. It may not be the best game out there, but it'll be pretty good. Again, I think the idea is interesting. I'll say that, but as a consumer, I don't want to play no service for a game. I just want to buy the game, do what I want. I hate the fact that even if I when you download it, you already install, but when you buy a game, you have to install every single game. That's why I love my Switch so much. I get a cartridge or whatever game, and then I plug it in and I play. These third-party games, you have to download updates, but you're just downloading an update. You're not installing it into your system. So but yeah, I think that EA, they're gonna fudge up this idea, which could be cool, no doubt, but they're gonna fudge it up. They're not in the business of consumerism, of the consumer, of the user. They don't care about, they just care about your money. Pay us. You see what they're doing to Star Wars, and that community. It was a Reddit post where EA was explaining how many hours or I forgot exactly the details, but it was about the Star Wars Battlefront game, and gamers have shown or explained how long it would take to unlock these basic Hall of Fame type characters that is in every Star Wars game, like Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, and all that, Yoda. Not like special guests like Kylo Ren and the new people. It was like 40 hours on Reddit. That post got downvoted in the history of Reddit. It got the most downvotes ever because they found out the news, and because of that, I think it was a marketing ploy. But because of that, EA, instead of 40 hours to get these characters, the only online game. Now it's like 10 hours or so that you could they changed it from 40 hours to 10 hours instead of making it a obvious grind, but it's still a grind that you would pay for because you don't have the time to play and put in all these hours for a multiplayer game. It's still the same thing. They just made it less awful because the whole thing is awful, but they just made it less awful because of all the downvotes. But this is EA we're talking, and EA knows how to destroy anything that they put their hands on and yet make great profit from it. So let's get into this next topic. Yeah,
we can get into it. I mean, real quick on the Star Wars. I have a couple things, but we can keep moving. The Star Wars Battlefront, man, I did see a tweet about that today about how EA's are they're getting threats about it, and people aren't happy with it, and so I don't know, maybe we can talk about it next time. But it says like the game is so unpopular, developers apparently getting death threats on that.
Come on, death threats, that's stupid.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's just a game, but people love their Star Wars, man. They get crazy about that thing. But anyways, you mentioned Mario too. I want to talk to you about that at some point because so you got the new Mario, you said?
Yeah, Mario Odyssey. Yeah.
Oh, you like it real quick or no?
Yeah, I love it. It's great. It's fun. It's charming. It has that that Grand Theft Auto kind of, well, not really Grand Theft Auto because it is kind of open world, but it gives you that curiosity feeling. You want to explore, you want to look into every crevice. And normally when you find something that looks a little odd, there's a moon there. That whole game is about collecting all those moons. It's an insane amount of it's almost 1,000 moons in that game. The more moons you get, you can move on to the next level. But there's no currency in that game where you put in real money, you buy something to move on towards the game. They have in-game currency, like whenever you pick up coins, you could buy a moon for like $100 or something like that. Of course, I'm not going to do that. I actually want to enjoy the whole game. But yeah, it's like that. It's great. I love it. I've always been a Nintendo fan, so playing something that cheerful isn't going to make me feel a certain way, or we're still grown men playing games. No matter how you dice that. No matter how you dice that.
So depressing.
Yeah, well, hey, I enjoy it. It keeps me out of trouble anyway. So
sound like my wife, man. You're a grown man playing video games. So listen, so Mario. So okay, so now you're making me want to get that game because I've heard a lot of good things about it. I mean, when I see it, it very much smells, breathes, and looks like the Marios of the past. Ever since it came out for the Nintendo 64, right? So so it looks a lot like that. I've heard a lot of good reviews, so I may pick it up. For me, it's a matter of time. I don't have I don't find a lot of gaming time. So like NBA 2K, it just sits there, and I bought it when it came out the first day, and I haven't even played much of that game. And it's like, damn. And I have MLB The Show that I just got the other day because I'm late to that game this year, and I don't even have a minute to spend with that. So I have limited game time or game interest or whatever, but I do want to get into that at some point. The people in the comments, they mentioned that they want us to talk about Gridiron Champions. I don't know if you want to talk about that now or later, but we can get into that if you want to.
You can talk about it.
All right, sure. Let's do it real quick because I've been a little quiet about those guys, and I haven't really said too much. I mean, I'm trying to make a game. Obviously, it's not the same type of game that a lot of you guys play, or it's not a AAA 3D game. But I guess I have some shared feelings with those guys because they're doing the same type of thing, but they're trying to with a next gen title. So props to them for doing that. Props to them for trying to excite the community and get a following. And they've done a very, very good job at creating that buzz and getting people to follow them, and to support them. And they have people that are out there that are professional athletes, and they have a sponsorship with some glove company. So they're making moves from a business standpoint that is, to me, it's pretty impressive. But all of those things that they're doing, which are great, they're great things to do. I feel like they're kind of backwards. Obviously it's never too late or never too early to get followers and to get people excited about a product. But we know with other companies out there, when you start to get your community excited, your clock starts to tick, and you better start showing things at some point very soon, or else people are going to start your trust and your loyalty and your brand recognition and your brand image starts to diminish every single day, every week, every month that you don't show on the field gameplay. And if you're showing all of these hype PR stuff, cover art, you have all these people signing with your company, with your game and your company, and you have all these cool concept things and these stadiums and all that. I mean, that's all good and well. What every one of us know, and we know because of the pain we've been through over the past decade where we haven't seen a quality title, that it's super difficult to make a game. It takes a lot of money to make these types of games, and you're not just going to whip something up out of your back pocket overnight. So because of that, there's a lot of skepticism that goes on, a lot from my side as well. I think that these guys are doing a lot of great things, but they are kind of doing it in the wrong order, in my opinion, and they're not showing us anything. And if we have to wait too long as a community, then they're going to lose the whole entire game. So that's my thought on it. I think that I hope the best for them. I applaud them for their efforts. I hope that they can actually do something that's successful, but I'm really skeptical because I haven't seen one line of code, and they're walking into such an enormous amount of challenge that you can't even begin to think what the hell they're going to do. And I'm just skeptical. So we'll see what happens. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts on Gridiron IMV Gaming is, all right, I'll put it to you like this. Javo, we were in a group, right? We saw kind of an inside process of something, of a certain Montana game, right? So I'll put it to you like this: we were begging Damon Grow, right, to, hey, let's do a Kickstarter. You could get your money. We will even put in whatever. We put right. Do you remember what Damon said? Do you remember what Damon had said?
About which part? Sorry.
About the Kickstarter. About we wanted him to do a Kickstarter. We should do a Kickstarter campaign, get the community involved. You could get more money, you could get more funding. Do you remember?
No, refresh my memory. I don't remember.
It's branded in my brain. what he said, and I didn't understand it at first. What he said was, yeah, you could give me as much money as you want, but you never know what kind of product you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Damon Grow, someone who is extremely hated in our community right now, that's what he said. Right? There's reasons why people hate him. I'm not going to say don't hate him. Hate whoever the hell you want. But all I'm saying is what you said, they're doing this out of order, right? Makes things a little skeptical. And I don't blame anyone for being skeptical. I don't blame you for being optimistic. Go ahead. And they are making moves on the business side of things. But again, I need to see some type of gameplay, something running on some kind of hardware to let me know what kind of game you're trying to make. And then I will support. Most Kickstarters out there, or maybe I'm wrong because I don't follow Kickstarter or GoFundMe pages like that. But I remember actually seeing some form of gameplay, even if it's CGI gameplay or some kind of gameplay running on some kind of high-end computer, and then maybe devs asking for money, or a well-known dev is saying, we're going to do X, Y, and Z, bring back your favorite game or your favorite storyline of something, and we're going to try to make it happen. We just need X amount of dollars to make it happen. Because, these devs create these games, and then they leave the studio and other devs and other companies make and continue their games. Like the I forgot the guy's name, but the guy who made the original Devil May Cry created that. He didn't work on any more Devil May Cries after that. Same thing with Metal Gear Solid. Kojima, he worked on a lot of Metal Gear Solids, but they wanted to push and change that game so much, he just left Konami. And eventually his studio probably asked for a Kickstarter and make some kind of Metal Gear Solid style game. That's just speculation, but just to be very clear, I support IMV Game Gridiron Champions, but you got to show me some kind of gameplay for me to support it monetarily. Show us something. They don't have an engine. I don't even know if they even hired devs yet. They're just, a couple of guys who want to make a game, and great. I know your heart is in the right place, but we got to see something. You can't, if you're going to make money or get money to do your thing, start at the top. Start with very rich, well-off people, and then work your way down, I guess. I don't know, but I need to see gameplay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess you need to have some funding if you're trying to hire talent, depending on who you're going after. And I get that they're going to need some funding. And I know that their Kickstarter page is showing like $10,218 pledged of their $850,000 goal. But I swear I saw that they were close to $100,000 or right around there now. Right?
I thought the last time I checked, I thought it was like 82,000 something.
Yeah, I know that might not. That's not through Kickstarter. That's probably outside of Kickstarter. But unless I'm finding a different project on here, but for sure,
that's
Kickstarters have become a little bit saturated, that market, and people like you said, people want to see a product. They want to see screenshots. There's a certain window of time that you have to actually go after a Kickstarter. And if you can show, the more you can show, like Mutant Football League, we talked about it last week, the more that you can show with the game, then the more that people can actually believe that you're close to finishing, because there's a high percentage of games that never finish because finishing a game is really, really hard. And if you haven't even started to build the game and you're asking for money, then, good luck to you, because it's not going to be easy. And, but they're getting money somehow. And like I said, they should be a publishing company or marketing company, because they're doing it very well. Yeah. I don't know, but they're also, I will say this, let's not forget the fact that they're also taking advantage of a very, very sore spot, situation for people out there. I mean, there are a lot of people out there who love and we're used to their college football. So they're taking advantage of the fact that EA Sports pulled the plug on that, and they're trying to capitalize on that opportunity. But don't forget that there are a lot of, it's like having a girl, a girl that just got dumped by her husband or boyfriend, and you're going up there to
picking
be
her up on a rebound.
Yeah, to be the rebound guy, and they're the rebound guy right now, and it's like people want to give them money because they have that intimate relationship with college football. But you know what? They better be careful, because we've seen, like you said, with Damon Groh, our community does not have patience or tolerance for people that are not going to deliver what they say they're going to deliver. And from the beginning up to now, these Immaculate Vision gaming guys, they've been preaching quality, this quality game that's coming out. They're going to make this great game, innovative, dynamic, whatever. Fine. Just be careful what you say, because what you say may come back to bite you. And like I said, we always say we hope for the best. I hope for the best product from everybody. EA, 2K, Immaculate Gaming, Canadian, whoever. Give us your best product. If it's good, I'll buy it. But until I see something, you're not going to get my money. And it's not because I don't want to support you. It's just because I know what it takes to make it. It's not that simple. So, hopefully they can show us something at some point. I don't want to waste too much time on those guys, because we have nothing to really talk about yet.
Yeah, really.
Right?
Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. So you mentioned EA and NCAA. Do you understand? And this is where a lot of the hate comes from, right? EA, if you think about it, in some way, some form or fashion, they've destroyed every style of football gaming. Do you understand that? They've destroyed it either legally or indirectly, or they destroyed it. Every genre of video game football. They killed arcade sports, right? Arcade football sports, because you can't play any NFL game that's arcade now, right? So nobody steps up. They killed the simulation market because you only can play Madden, right? They killed NCAA because they actually used the freaking likeness of a college football player in the game, and they were using their stats, their ratings, their likeness. So they got sued, and now the NCAA doesn't want to make any games right now. Any football genre that they touched, they kind of killed, destroyed. It's really hard to come out with a game. It's really hard to come out with a game that that doesn't have the NFL license. So they do. Disgusting. Anyway, that was my epiphany.
I felt like my night wasn't ruined until right then, but yeah, EA, they're a bunch of scumbags. I mean, let's be honest, But at the same time, they that's the one thing about a licensed game, which we can get into that maybe in a future episode about what you. And I think we talked about it a little bit last week, but what you guys really want, a licensed or unlicensed game. And I'm of the opinion that I would take either or. I don't need to have a licensed game in order for me to enjoy football or any other sports game, but you have to give me some way to customize it. You have to. And if you don't, then it better be a good game and I'll enjoy it, just like I enjoyed some of the unlicensed games of the past. But what I will say is that when you go after a license, then right now you're entering into a legal contract with an organization, an entity that can control what types of things you can or cannot do. And sometimes you cross the boundaries, and you have to be careful with what how you represent that company. And I know, and as well, Gedden, that when you have the NFL or the NBA or anybody out there, they have their legal constraints that you have to keep, yourself inside of in order to be able to represent that company and have that relationship be strong and healthy and have future, years ahead. So, I give them a small little bit of a break, because they do have to deal with those types of situations. But at the same time, you're right. They have ruined a lot of the licensed games that we have come to enjoy and now miss. And then people that are out there that like I said, I wish them the best. They're trying to capitalize on that loss. And I just don't know if they're going to be able to do that. But, but we shall see. We shall see. I want to see some development. Those guys are welcome to come on our show. I'd love to have a conversation with those guys. If anybody knows, I know that Wild Lions on here, you mentioned Wild Lion Games, you mentioned that you know the guy or you went to school with him, you know, feel free to have him join us. And I'd love to have a conversation about what their plans are, because I don't want to see concept art anymore. I'm sorry. I can do that on Photoshop. We can all do that. I can show you all the things that they're showing us. It looks cool, you know, high quality stuff, but that's the fluff that we're used to getting from Madden. I don't want to see the bells and whistles. I don't want to see the little pictures and the art and the pretty cover art. No, I don't want to see that. I want to see gameplay. And I can tell you right now, because I'm actually right in the middle of gameplay in my game, and it is not easy to do gameplay AI. No way. You're talking 11-11 on the field. You have your fans, you have your referees, you have your cheerleaders, you have your coaches, you have your bench. You have to deal with all of these actors walking around, moving around, and you guys know football is not a simple game. It's a very complex, strategic, dynamic game. And to build an AI for any football game is ridiculous, the amount of work it takes. So that's why it's like saying you're going to fly into space with a hang glider, and these guys are like, yeah, I'm going to do it. You know, just give me a year, give me 2 years. I'm like, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about, because to do that, it takes like a miracle or so much money and resources that, you know, you have to, and look at, like you mentioned Damon Groh. And I'm going to mention one thing about him. Like you said about the Kickstarter, he didn't want to collect money for something that he couldn't commit on. Right. And at least from the community. And that guy, you know, people have their things to say about him, and he didn't deliver what I wanted, and he didn't deliver what a lot of us wanted. I think we were let down in a lot of areas, but I can tell you that from talking to him behind the scenes, and Gedden, I know you can back me up, the guy was a good guy who he really wanted to go after the sim community and give us what we wanted. That's what he wanted to do. That was his goal. But he had things that got in his way, limitations, complexities, you know, business agreements that he couldn't really, you know, I guess navigate through. And I'm not making an excuse for the guy, because what he did in a lot of ways was wrong. But I know that his heart was in the right place. He just didn't have the right pieces around him and the right timing and strategy to really give us what we wanted. So I don't give him a pass, but I do give him credit for having the balls to at least try to do something and go after this, this game that we're looking for. But he just fell way short, and I don't even know what he's doing now. I haven't heard from him in a long time. For all I know, he could be making a game and not talking about it. We don't even know, because I know that they had a pretty significant, backing behind them. So anyways, we'll see. Like I said, it was a letdown for a lot of us, but he wasn't a bad dude, man. He just had some bad circumstances and made some bad decisions. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. So
we all make mistakes. Speaking of mistakes, let's go to the next topic. The interview.
Wait. Can we bring up? Wait. I'm sorry. Before we go into the interview, because we have a separate slight story to talk about real quick about a Twitter tweet. Is there any way possible we could put that up on the screen and we could briefly talk about it? And shout out to Lob Mob if you're out there in the chat room. I don't know, but if you're out there, if you're listening, thank you for allowing me to use this tweet and sending me this interview. Thank you.
Yeah. We, on this show, we're so damn professional. We're pros, man. We can do this. We can do this. I'm trying to scramble here to get it for you, but no, I have it up.
My bad. I thought you already had it. If you don't have it, it's not.
I'm just playing with you. I have it. Let me just move it over. You're making a joke. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I do know how the hell to run a goddamn Google Hangout session. Let's see. Let's do it. All right. Share screen. Boom. Boom. All right. So we should be able to see it now.
Okay. Well, it's small on my phone. Let me just I did that for the people looking. All right. I remember what he said. I'm gonna paraphrase what basically Smitty was saying. Lob Mob was basically asking him, do you think that Madden's gonna get any better from what you're seeing? Smitty, who, if you don't know, is a game changer. out there. He's been working, him and Sim F Ball Critic. We all were part of the Sim Standard. Yes, me included. They've been working or chatting or hanging out and going to trips and E3 to EA, Tiburon in Florida, hanging out over there. They've been doing this for maybe 5 years? Maybe 4 years?
They've been doing it for,
I don't know the exact time.
Like 5 years. Yeah, I think like 5.
About 5 years. 5 years or so. So he responds to Lob Mob, about the game getting better. Oh, only time will tell, man. Or fam, whatever. Only time will tell. So let's put that in perspective. Spitty is not giving yes, from what I'm talking about, they understand what needs to be fixed. They know what to do. They're going to do it. I've seen a build that they're waiting to release, and they're going to, maybe not that because, there's legality behind that, but at least some kind of confidence. Oh yeah, definitely something's coming. Just you wait. You could say stuff like that. We've been under NDA before. You could say roundabout things like that without giving any specifics, details to what's happening. So yeah, it's this very soft answer. Only time will tell. Well, what time is telling you now? Was history told us before? Madden sucks. It's playable, sure, but if you're shooting for mediocrity, Madden is the key to mediocrity. So I just thought that it was a very soft answer, very weak, very complacent, very don't worry about it. Buy it if you want, don't buy it if you don't. I don't know. It's just for somebody who's supposed to be so close to EA and their devs. Their devs are such great guys, but I would think that he'll sound a little bit more charged, a little bit more enthusiastic through a Twitter message. You can't tell the tone of someone's voice anyway, but you could just read, and I read between the lines, and to me that says expect more of the same. I don't know what's really going on, and yeah, have fun. So I just wanted to bring that up before we got into the interview, because if you can see, the interview is connected to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, if I could, I just want to make a quick comment on that as well. I mean so for those of you guys, hope you guys can see it. I think you should be able to. I can see it on mine.Maybe it's the phone that's harder to see, but for those of you that are watching on, and you guys are probably watching on phones too, but I don't know if you read it. I didn't really catch if you read the tweet or not, but did you read the tweet, Gedden, or no? Did you read it out loud? Yeah, of course. You did read it?
Read it out loud. Would you like me to? I could.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I would say read it, man.
Okay, yeah. So Smitty posts a interview with some mutt guys or whatever. But anyway, the interview, the tweet says, "Great interview here with Rex Dickson and Gut Fox, whatever his name is. This is a must listen right here. Please pay attention to this one. Tons of insight given." Okay, so Lob Mob, again, shout out to Lob Mob. He retweets that. Is this insight going to lead to the greatest football game of all time in the next 2 years? As a consumer, I just want to play. Now, where Lob Mob is coming from, understand that he's a huge NFL 2K guy. Matter of fact, if you listen to his WWE videos, if you listen, some of his main characters were offensive linemen. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm just saying they were offensive linemen. But anyway, so and a running back. But yeah, so now Smitty replies to that as only time will tell, bro. Can't predict the future, unfortunately. Again, that was just a lame way of saying it really showed no enthusiasm. It showed no confidence in what Rex and crew, Clint Oldenburg, shout out to Rex. Big shout out to Rex. I love that guy. It really shows no confidence in what they're doing. You know, I'm sorry if I was working with a company that I thrive to work with, and if they were making um a great product year in and year out, either I'm going to say just wait and see, or I'm going to be extremely enthusiastic about it. It'd be like a wait and see, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to read too much on what Smitty is saying, but to me, it just sounded very, very weak, very soft. You know, I keep saying the same words again, over and over again. You know, it was, you know, I don't know. It
Well,
was
I
just,
mean,
hey, whatever, man.
no, it was I think that this is a nice, like a perfect example of what you hear from those guys. And, you know, it's been the same thing year after year after year. It's always trying to um, not apologize for EA, but they're always like beating around the bush and hyping things up and then backing down. They're just playing these games with us. And, you know, this is a perfect example of that, because you have Smitty's first tweet. And I don't want to get too deep into it because, you know, we can sit here and trash it for hours, but I'm going to say this. His tweet says, check this video out. This is a must, all capital letters, a must listen to right here for sure, whatever. Please pay attention to this one. Tons of insight given. So he's telling us that, oh, all these gold nuggets that they're always talking about that they can only hear because they're game changers, whatever the hell. I was going to say game makers. They don't make anything, but game changers, right? So they see everything and hear everything, and every year that they promise something new coming, they let us down. Everybody lets us. It's the same thing. So, you know, you can only cry wolf so many times before you get caught, right? And
Exactly.
another example of him saying, "Oh, great interview, great stuff, tons of insight. You got to listen. You got to have a high IQ to listen, because you got to be smart, like we are. You know, we're smart, so you got to listen like we." And if you're smart, then you can get it. If you listen with the right frequency, then you can hear what he said. They're always trying to, you know, spin the table on people, like, oh no, listen to it again. Go listen to my archives. All that bullcrap. Bottom line is that he gets a very, you know, legitimate response from Lob Mob saying, is it going to lead to the game that we want, the game that we want to play, the game that you guys supposedly went out there to pursue, right? To represent our entire community vision or whatever. You're the ones that are going to be the voice of us. This is what you guys did 5 years ago, right? 5 years ago. Okay, is it going to be this game? Or is it going to be at this time, right? Is there going to be a wolf there this time? And his only response, like it normally does, is, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Only time will tell. I can't predict the future, unfortunately. My hands are tied, but go listen to it, because it's a must listen to, and it's going to be great for everybody. Okay, well, like you said, Gedden, either you're going to get on the train and represent the train, or get off the damn train, which is what I've always said when I call into that show where I talk to those guys. I'm like, you guys keep telling us to wait for a game. You keep telling us that it's coming, it's coming. And nothing is changing to the way that we want it to, right? We're not getting the game that we think, that we feel we deserve from the company that took away a better product, right? So
Yep.
if you're sitting here telling us that you're going to get this game, you went out there, your mission was to go out there to get us this game. I always ask those guys, okay, this is year number 5, year number 6, whatever it is, year after year, you're not getting it. You admit that you're not getting the game that you want, you know? So why are you still going back? Why are you still going back to that company and giving your time representing our community, right? Why are you doing that if every year you're not getting what you want? Oh, well, it takes time. It takes time. It takes time. And I've told those guys year after year, I swear it's been at least 4 years now, I've said, give us your time. Tell us 3 years. Fine, 3 years. Stand on one, you know, stand on your morals here, and let us know, or laurels or whatever. Let us know what your time is. And then when that time comes, if it's not the game, I want to see you get out of that place. Because if you don't get out of that place, you're nothing but a hypocrite and a scam. Okay? And that's how I feel about those guys. So, you know, they don't ever want to give me a time, you know, so it gets me heated, because those guys, those guys have really pulled the wool over a lot of people's eyes, and I don't appreciate it because this is our community, and that's why we're here to take it back.
Exactly. I just had a thought and it just left my mind. Oh my God. Oh well.
It'll come back. It'll come
Yeah.
back.
So I guess it'll come back. I guess we could go into the next topic, which is that BS interview. Go right into that interview, I guess. Right? Is that cool?
Go for it. Kick it off.
Yeah. So I mean, I listened to as much as I possibly can. I try to stomach as much as I possibly can, only for the show. Not because what they were saying was very compelling. Just to set this up, the premise or the hosts are mutt guys. I forgot their guys' names, but one particular host is very much so a mutt guy. The other guy, he's more of a gameplay type of player. And he was asking Rex on gameplay features and I think connected career and all these things. And Rex kept on saying, yeah, we're not really working on that. Just to paraphrase, we're not working on these things. Things can't be done, yada, yada, yada. Or, we'll see next year type of thing, and for the most part, in general, kept complaining to the higher powers don't want to work on the gameplay. Again, I'm paraphrasing. It's not quotes or anything like that. I'm going off my memory. But yeah, Rex Dickson, the head gameplay manager or designer or whatever, gameplay director over there at EA, he has to answer to his bosses, and his bosses are telling him, yeah, we can't do X, Y, and Z if it's not going to sell the game. Now, my thoughts are the game would sell great, even better, make even more money if the gameplay actually was great. So that excuse that Rex is giving is just a lame excuse yet again, and is shifting the blame to another part of the whole trash bag that EA really is. Instead of just saying, hey, we haven't executed, we're going to execute, and because this is our game design philosophy, we want to make an authentic experience yet make it accessible for the casual gamer. He's not even saying that. He keeps bringing up other issues and other factors. If you do this one thing, it throws off all these other things. It's just one big bag of excuses that are coming out of Rex's mouth during this interview. That's one element that I saw. There's about 3 or 4 other elements that hopefully we could get through. But what do you think about either that subject, or what did you get from the interview? Again, there's other things that I would like to talk about.
Well, the interview is, I think, close to 2 hours long, so I really haven't had a chance to fully digest it, and I'm planning to listen to it because I really want to go back and digest what Rex is saying in the interview, because he says a lot and they ask a lot of questions. Now, like you said, Gedden, these guys are all about mutt. It's the thing is called Mutt Men, the Mutt Men Madden podcast. Okay, so I mean, you can't get any more mutt than that, right? Mutt Men Madden podcast, right? So, and that's cool if you
they
like.
Should have said mod pass.
I mean, listen, if they want to play mutt, more power to them. I don't think I've ever even played mutt, to be honest with you. I've never even tried to play mutt, and because I'm already to me, that's not what I'm after. I'm after a franchise mode. I'm after, hardcore gameplay, offline or online, but offline because I get a better experience. I can control my time easier. So for me, I'm a different consumer than somebody who plays mutt. So I don't even go into those waters with those guys. But from what I've heard, I did hear about the first 45 minutes or so of the video, and I took down a couple of notes. And you're right. They talk about mutt. They talk about what's coming in the future. Rex has to dance a little bit, and he always says, "Oh, trust me. I can't tell you the real information, but what I can do is tell you to trust me that this is something that's going to improve, or it's going away, or whatever it might be. And one of the questions that they had was about skills trainer. And the guy, one of the guys was saying that, I guess the host or whatever, he was asking Rex if the skills trainer feature was going to be pulled out of Madden next year. And I don't know why. He didn't really say why he was saying that. I don't think. It just came up as like a next follow-up question. And it was funny. I wrote this down because I found it to be a pretty bold statement by Rex. And this is what he does. Because they're the only game on the block, he has carte blanche to be able to say whatever he wants and say, oh, we're the best this, the best that, right? So what he said was that skills trainer is never going to be pulled from Madden because it's from what he said it's considered to be the best class. He goes, well, let me repeat it because I'm going to mess this up. I don't want to mess it up. He goes, it's considered to being the best in class trainer mode in sports games right now. So out of all the sports games right now, he's telling us that his skills trainer in Madden is the best in class skills training mode out there for any sports game. I mean, like, and Gedden and I were talking before the show, and there are games out there that have practice modes. I know that NBA 2K has tutorials that they give you. I don't really know if they have the same kind of trainer mode. I think that Madden does like the same thing that 2K had, where you have like and a lot of games have, like NFL Fever has it too, where you go into this, they call it whatever they want, skills trainer, whatever, practice, whatever mode, learn how to play the game mode. And Backbreaker had it too, where you go in and you check off one drill at a time. You go through your drills and you have your running drill and your power move drill and your hurdle drill. You have all of these drills that they run you through, and you basically check them off. And when you're done, your checklist is complete and you're done. That's what they're calling their skills trainer mode being the best in class. It's the best in class. How the fuck is it best in class? How is it best in class? You tell me. I don't know.
I can tell you how. Well, I mean, I'm not well versed in every single sim sports game out there, but NBA 2K has a tutorial. I asked you about MLB The Show. It has a training mode. It has a practice mode. But an in-game trainer that any game has, well, yeah, a game could be the very best if it's the only one that's offering a mode like that. You got to give them props for that. But I really think that Madden is the only game that's offering a mode like that. Yeah, you could definitely be the best. Come at me, bro. 2K, get your money up and make an NFL game. We're the best NFL game right now. But what's that saying? You're the only NFL game out there right now. So, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Possibly, very possible I'm wrong. But I don't think a lot of sports games or any sports games really have an in-game trainer mode as the one he's describing. I would rather have said he said that. Being boastful, I could be boastful at times. I would rather say that we're the only game offering you an in-depth trainer mode. Everybody wants to talk bad about Madden, but we're the only, not to say we're the best, because honestly, I don't think any other game has a trainer mode in it. Again, I could be wrong. Anybody in the comments, please educate me if other games have an in-game trainer mode out there. I don't think they do.
I don't
I know this.
Yeah.
Wait, real quick. I'm sorry. I know I've been rambling.
No, go ahead.
But I do remember playing NFL 2K4 or NFL 2K5, and they had an in-game manual. And I believe either there was video or you could go right into the play in the situation. I'm not too sure. I could be wrong about that as well. But I know that they had a manual. I remember playing it on the GameCube, probably the only NFL 2K game that came out on GameCube. It was the GameCube. They had a in-game manual breaking down what a 4-3 defense was, what a 3-4 defense was, what cornerbacks did, what types of shells they had, what type of what's the word? What type of I can't think of the word, but what what type of assignments, DBs, linebackers, what was it, Sam? It really broke down football in a very, I mean, you had to read it, but it broke down football and what each position did right there, right in front of you. It wasn't as modern, obviously, as now, but they actually had a in-game somewhat tutorial. Now, where's that in Madden? I would like to see more of that. I'm not saying what Rex is doing or what EA has done was horrible or bad, but to boast about it when it's the only mode that EA is doing, it's kind of off. It's kind of slighted, if you will. But I like the fact that they do that. They need to do more of that. They need to explain a little bit more and have more football elements on field into the game. But yeah, I think that it's obvious. I don't know. I ain't gonna get political, but it's very it's odd that he's talking about he's the best, or that in-game trainer, whatever thing was the very best. Also, not to ramble on too much. I know I've been talking.
No, go for it. You're good.
But yeah. Speaking of which, I thought it was a good transition. Every time when Rex gets challenged on Madden, and the haters as he keeps throwing it out there, he loves to bring up numbers. If it's not Metacritic, right? It's sales numbers. If it's not sales numbers, it's Metacritic. It's always something like that with Rex, for whatever reason. I think he has a complex or something like that. I don't know him personally. I'm just speculating. Allegedly, he might have a complex. But he brought up Metacritic. Now, to me, Metacritic was great, but now it has become broken, right? Because the more users you have, the more chances your game could be voted down. Or who's to say these users are real people? On Twitter, on YouTube, you have these things called bots. Even Facebook, you have bots. You have fake people, fake accounts, inflating or deflating whatever. Right? Mm-hmm. So with that, who's to say Metacritic isn't doing that? The reason why I say this, I have proof. So he brought up the Metacritic rating. Our Metacritic rating is pretty good, better than NBA 2K. And this is going to lead into something else. Oh, and I hate talking so much. But he brought up the Metacritic, and it's better than NBA 2K's, I bet. That's kind of what he was saying. Then the other guy, one of the hosts at Madden Mutt Guys, whatever, he says that, well, if 2K wants the license, look at what they're doing with NBA 2K. They can't even run that game right. NBA 2K offline, as anybody would say, is a 10 times better game than Madden. Just the depth of the gameplay itself, then the depths of the modes, and then the depths within the modes is 20 times better than Madden, right? It doesn't take a game scientist to understand that. But anyway, I go back to my main point. He brings up the Metacritic. So NBA 2K right now, Javo, if you look up NBA 2K right now on Metacritic on PlayStation 4, you will be shocked and appalled at that rating. Now, I know you haven't played NBA 2K18 that much, but I have. I put in at least 40 or 50 hours easily on that game, maybe even more. That game right now is clocking in at a 1.7 out of 10 rating. NBA 2K18. 1.7 right now, 1.8 maybe. But Madden, it doesn't fare much better. They have a 3.5 rating. And Rex thought that he was going to have a great rating. Little did he know, he had a horrible rating. And then he laughed it off, saying, it's hard to make a simulation game, I guess. You guess? Obviously, you're struggling with it. But anyway, my point is, I know this is rather convoluted and long, but again, if you go to Rugby 18, that game made, I forgot the developer, but obviously, that game is not better than Madden. And obviously, that game isn't better than NBA 2K game, NBA 2K18, Madden 18. They're not better. That game is not better than that game. I know that because they don't have the money. They don't have the iterations that EA and 2K has put put forth. But that game is ranking better than NBA 2K and Madden with Metacritic. And when I say Metacritic, I mean the user score, not the critic score. The critic score is whatever. But he was referring to the player, the user score, and that's what I'm referring to as well. The user scores could be totally off. It doesn't. People, you could pay people if you're a mega $1 million corporation. Oh, we could pay a group of bots to go rank down a game. That's what happened with Call of Duty and Advanced Warfare or whatever, right? You can tell me that game was the most disliked video on YouTube. There are people out there praising Hitler, and that those videos don't get knocked down more than, come on now. Like there's some stuff going on. I'm not crazy thinking of this, speculating on this. So yeah, man, it's a lot of phoniness out there, and I don't believe 1 second that my NBA 2K game that I put in so many hours is worth a 1.7 scale on it, scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the greatest. Come on now, there's no way it's a 1.7 user score. Come on. I noticed that on Xbox last year, NBA 2K 17, it got amazingly horrible reviews. I'm like, I understand the game, is having its issues, but it can't. Come on now, the game ain't that bad. At one point in time, it was unplayable, yes. So maybe that's what it had to do with. But NBA 2K, I'm not saying it's perfect, but it deserved at least a 7.5.
Yeah,
maybe
that's a good,
at least a 7.
But anyway, that's it. No, you're good, man. That's a great piece of information you found there, because you're right, man. Rugby 18 has a 4.5 user score. I mean, I personally don't. I mean, I have it here on the screen for everybody to look at. NBA 2K 18 is 1.7 user score. Their meta score is 81. Madden's meta score is 82, but their user score is a 4.3 from a 1.7 to NBA 2K 18, which is stupidness. Just stupid. And then Rugby 18 is 4.5. So what I can tell you, I never look at this Metacritic garbage. I don't look at any reviews for a long time. No, I mean, ever since like YouTube and the Twitches of the world, they've come out with people doing their own reviews. I've always been one that has been skeptical of any reviewer, even way back in the day when it was just IGN and GameSpot. I don't look at reviews because they're a bunch of just noise to me. It's the same exact noise for the reason why they have Mutt being so successful and people think that Madden is so good, because those people don't know what they're talking about. Okay. Yeah. And I personally don't like to follow the masses just because the masses are the popular vote. I don't do that. If they're going down a cliff, I'm not going to follow these people off a cliff just because they're going. But a lot of people do that. They don't know any better, or they're casual gamers, like we've talked in our previous shows. And I know exactly what I'm looking for. I may or may not be the most popular consumer, DNA out there that they're looking for, or they're looking to target, or the right demographic. I get that, but I also know a quality game from a bad game. I know that. I can tell you that much. And, with the experience that we've had, us older guys out there, we've seen games evolve over the years and become what they are today. And we are this is why we're a unique demographic. We are very
experienced.
We're very experienced, but we're also very we're very good. What's the word? We're very good at analyzing games and knowing shit from quality. We're not going to. We're not
seen so much, right?
Right. We were able to appreciate the Ataris, the older games like Giant Blue was mentioning last week. We were able to appreciate a game, like the first Super Mario Brothers, where it was just a 2D little pixel game, and we learned way back in our roots what makes a game enjoyable and quality. It wasn't the graphics. It wasn't the, special effects. It wasn't the resolution. It wasn't the 4K, the new Xbox One X that they had. It wasn't any of that. It wasn't the downloadable content. It wasn't the internet. Nothing. What it was a quality. The core of the game was a quality gameplay that had the right mechanics, the right controls, the right movement, the right story. So many things that made you feel like the game was something that you wanted to go back to. And you couldn't stop playing and you were addicted to. And those days have been, fast forwarded to today, where you just have all of this high tech, state of the art things that just get thrown out there, and they try to cover up the fact that the core of the game is trash. They have 55 different modes, 5,000. They have so much in your and I picture it like a hold on a second. Let me stop sharing this thing real quick. I picture it like, it's not presenting. Yeah, okay. I picture it like you have so many distractions now. There's so many things in front of you that are distracting your eye that you say, oh, wow, this is a great game because look how big it is. Look how much I can do. But you know what? All they're doing is covering up the fact that the meat of the game is trash. And people like me who ignore all of those cosmetic bells and whistles and crap that I can care less about, nor do I have time to spend on, I see them for what they are. And so do you, and so do a lot of us, and we're not happy with these games. So the user score to me is a popular vote from people that don't know their ass from their elbow. They don't even know what the hell they're talking about. And they're giving a score just because of the features, or I don't know where they're coming up with it from, but to me, it doesn't matter. It hasn't mattered for a long time, and it still won't. It's going to be what I'm looking for, and what I look for may not be the popular vote.
That's true.
So that's my rant on that one. So tonight I'm just cursing up a storm. I apologize for all the cursing. I guess I'm, I don't know what's going on, but hey, it is what it is, man.
Hey, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it, man. We're grown men. That's the thing. We're grown men. We can say whatever the fuck we want. So, so where were we? So yeah, I had one more thing on the interview. This is going to be a big one. It might set you and I on fire. And I know that we're late. We're late. It's already almost 9:30. So,
okay.
Time's flying, but real quick, the other thing that I found, and you can find, the first one that I mentioned, if you guys watch the video, it's in the YouTube description here, so you're going to see it in there. You can go to the video and hear the interview. But if you go to 12 minutes and 40 seconds in, you'll hear the one about the skills trainer. And then if you go to 41 minutes into the video, so 41 minutes in, you're going to hear this one. And Rex talks about how producers, so what they do is they asked him a question, and he kind of like skated around it and was like, oh, I really can't answer you. We don't have time for me to answer you. And the guy from the podcast comes back and says, oh, we have a lot of time. Can you answer us? Is it that you can't answer us because you can't tell us what, it's information that you can't disclose, or is it because of the time? Because we have time. So he comes back and he says, oh, it's a little bit of both. And he said one of the frustrations that he has is that he is always having to meet with producers and argue with them about what's important to put in the game. And he says that the producers, they don't want to hear about complex route coverages or strategies in the game, or any tactical changes that they want to make to the game to make the game more sim, right? Because they want something that they can sell. They can't sell this complex strategy that most people don't even know what it means, right? They don't know what a 4-3 defense is, or coverage zones are, or a QB. What do you call it? QB spy. They don't know any of that stuff. What they know is Odell Beckham's catch, right? They know the Goff, the new quarterbacks that are coming out. They know about Ezekiel Elliott. They know about Dak Prescott. They know about these figures out there that can sell the product, right? So they don't want to hear about things that are going to make the game better. And he says it right there in the video. You should hear that. He even says that they want to hear about things that they can sell. And he goes on to say that EA is a marketing-driven company, okay? EA is a marketing driven company. Why? Because when you market things right, just like Geico does with their commercials, when you do great marketing and great advertising, you're going to attract people to your product and you're going to generate more sales. So when they want to attract more people, their motto is get them with the hook, get them with the flash, get them with the fun, cool things. Don't go after the real core game that people don't even understand or they don't care about or they can't sell on some platter, right? They don't want to be pitched technical football things. They want what is it? He goes, people they're selling the vision to don't, yeah, this is what he says. People they're selling the vision to for Madden don't play football or don't know football. So why sell them football? And that right there, go to 41 minutes in that video, because that to me just tells me every single reason why we are where we are as a football community with the game that is not made for us. And we have game changers that are representing us when their vision and their strategy has nothing to do with football.
Exactly. Nail on the head. That was one of the first times, man, if we had an applause button, I'll be hitting it right now. That was one of the first times in the interview where what Rex was saying made perfect sense. When he said that, that's when I knew no matter what happens, we'll never get a game from EA. A game that we want, a simulation game that we want. See, the problem with EA, they're happy to get their mark because of Mutt. Mutt is their money maker. They're worried about sales, but they're worried, like you just said, sales to the very, very casual. Let me tell you something. EA, if you're listening, or Super Sexy Rex, if you're listening, yo, casuals don't like playing football games. So you're marketing fire and expecting a snowman to buy your fire, right? There's no reason why a casual will buy your game. Casuals don't like playing games to begin with, and then they're not going to play a football game. They should be doing what MLB The Show is doing. Matter of fact, NBA 2K is a very simulated game. They put a lot of things in, but then they do cater to the casuals. Apex does a great job of breaking that down every time. Every time when he says the ball isn't tangible, that screams 2K does not care about the very, very hardcore. But they do throw bones at the hardcore, at least. When I say hardcore, I mean people who really care about basketball and those things, those elements. But ultimately, because casuals, they're the one, there's way more casuals than there are of any niche crowd. So, yeah, you're going to get a lot more of a casual elements, but NBA 2K is not a casual game. To me, a casual game is a game that a 10-year-old could pick up, play, and have success. To a certain extent, Call of Duty is very much so like that, playing that online. Madden is extremely like a 10-year-old could pick up Madden and have some kind of success with playing people online, playing a grown man online. Come on now. A 10-year-old that makes no sense. I have a step nephew, if you will, who he's 10. He plays Call of Duty. He plays Madden. He doesn't beat me in Madden. That wasn't the 10-year-old I was talking about. I kick his ass. Anyway. But yeah, but he does not like playing NBA 2K. Why doesn't he like playing NBA 2K? Because for him, it doesn't meet his demographic. He can't pick up that game and just easily score. You got to worry about how you score. You got to worry about how you shoot. You got to learn who you're playing with, what type of style they play. That's depth. That's simulation. Even though if you know what you're doing, you could cheese the game out, and that's where the casuals come in for NBA 2K. But yeah, I think that they are selling their game to casuals, but casuals don't want their game. That's why their sales should be through the roof, even though the NFL attendance and maybe the viewership is a little lower than 2011. I think I was reading. It's the only NFL game out there, and there are two systems that sell that game, two systems only. And you telling me those both games aren't cracking 6 or 7 million sold each year. They should easily begin 6, 7 million easily, especially if Madden 05 was reaching crazy numbers. And their numbers just dip, went up a little bit, then dip, then went up a little bit, then dip. Then went up just a little bit, maybe 1 million or 2 at the most. But yeah, I think that they're barking up the wrong tree, and it's very obvious what Rex is saying is actually the truth this time. And they're making the suits are, I guess, making the game. But again, to me, that's an excuse. As a developer, you could definitely, as they put it, they even said ghosting football elements in the game. You could definitely appease your casual crowd and the simulation crowd at the same time if they were talented enough. But they're not. So
no, they're not. And you have, and what makes me kind of curious about the whole thing is that you have companies. You have the 2K, you have the MLBs of the world, you have the FIFA, you have those other games out there that, and I don't know so much about FIFA because I think PES to me is a better simulation on the field than FIFA is. I know that for a fact, and that seems to be the common feeling about the game. So I won't even say FIFA. I'll say PES, MLB The Show, 2K Sports, NBA 2K. Those games are building for a simulation crowd, and they also have casual aspects to them. They do, because you can make the game very easy. You can put the game on rookie and have a great time. When my kid plays MLB The Show, he's not playing it on the hardest difficulty. Okay, he's playing it on a batting, like the batting setting that I put him on is for him to be able to hit a better average than he would if I put him on the more simulation mode. So what they do is they're building a game that's true, that's closer to reality than other games out there. So they're trying to mimic a simulation football game, but they're also allowing people to dial it back a little bit and give them the modes that they want to give, for a more simulation or a more arcade feel. Excuse me. So, but the thing though is that EA Sports, the thing I don't understand about EA Sports is that their slogan is what? EA Sports, it's in the game, right? It's in the game, right? So if they're going to market themselves as a simulation of the real game, right? It's in the game. Okay, so if it's in the game, I better see it in here, right? But they don't do that, right? What they do is they make a product. Number one, they buy out the entire market. Okay, which is ridiculous that they could even get away with that. But they buy out the entire market. The competitors are all bought out. They're the only player on the block. We know that. And they build a product that's just good enough to where you would at least play the game and try the game. And then they have the NFL icing on it. Then they put all the different modes on top. They put the graphics, the 4K, and all this stuff that they're doing. The MUT, the DLC, they have certain modes in the game that you can play. They have a deep franchise mode, not what we want, not the franchise that we're looking for with the kind of control that we're looking for. And they make a game that's, that's pretty, and pretty for some people. During that video, they're showing gameplay of Madden 18. And all I can do is just sit there and be like, this guy, Rex Dickson, if I was this guy on the phone and I was watching that video, I would be like, man, please turn it off. I don't want to see any of this anymore because I'm getting disgusted, dude. It's disgusting what they have in there. Here's the thing. So here's what I think, man. This show, obviously we can talk about EA Sports till we're blue in the face. We can talk about Madden, and we're going to continue to talk about these games. But what I also want to do is make sure that we talk about the older games, that we talk about the games that did it well, and why were they so good? I want to have shows and topics in the near future, man, that we talk about 2K5 and why 2K5 was so great. What was so great about 2K5? What did 2K5, what didn't it have that it missed on? Because there are things that it missed on in several areas. What about All Pro Football? What about Backbreaker? What about, even if we want to get into NFL Fever, get into all of the games that we had back in the day that still can be played with roster updates. And some people don't want to take the time to do it or can't stomach the old graphics. I get it. But I have more fun personally talking about games that actually had value than to sit here and complain about Madden, where they're on a train and they're on a route that is nowhere near where I'm at. Like, I'm over here and they're all the way down over here, but I'm still talking about them, and I know they're relevant because they're the only player in town, and we're going to continue to bring them up and share our opinions on them. But I think that we should dedicate time on this show, man. And I don't know what you think, Gedden, for the games that actually did things well, and even the old Maddens if we want to, What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think that we should definitely do that. Hopefully our show will continue to grow and get better. And I would love to show footage of, say, things that we truly, truly like about the games, the retro games, or the slightly retro games of the games that we actually respect. Even, showing some of the new games out there from the indie devs, some of those elements that we like. I think that'd be great. One thing that I wanted to talk about, it's funny that you bring up the older games, is the one thing that I really loved was about Backbreaker was the satisfaction you had when you actually dialed up a good play, called the defense out of position, and ran a good run play, like up the gut or off tackle or off guard, whatever the case was, where you had a good play and it was a positive yardage or a big play that landed in a touchdown. I haven't gotten that type of fulfillment in a football game, even playing All-Pro Football. All-Pro Football, I love that game. And the on-field football is amazing, but it was just a special feeling that Backbreaker gave me of something brand new, something on the cutting edge. And that's what I really believe what we really want in a football game. We want simulation, but through that simulation, I think we're really begging for like modern, cutting edge, true to the sport authenticity that a lot of the indie devs aren't giving us yet. And Madden, the only modern thing about Madden is their rosters, and sometimes that's a little off. So yeah, I think that I think you bring up a good point. We should show more football games or even basketball, whatever genre. Things that we appreciate. We should talk about that and bring that up, or possibly show it one day.
Yeah, we definitely should. And I actually, that's what I do when I go to play a football game. I play the older ones. That's why I make the roster editors that I've made. That's why I try to bring more life and squeeze more out of those games. And some people don't waste their time doing it, and I respect it. But for me, it's the only choice I have. If I have a better product, I'm going to go to the best product I have. I don't care if it's 10 years old or, day one, yesterday. Yep. I don't care if it's the best product, and I also want options, right? We want options. One, you don't always want to keep eating that steak dinner. And in this case, we're eating McDonald's, fish fillet every night with this Madden product. I want something else, and I want variety. And that's the biggest. That's like the most important thing that we can get out of this call tonight and this show is that we want options. 2K wasn't perfect. Backbreaker, none of those games were perfect. But what we had was the ability to enjoy them for what they were and the value that they had. And if we liked them, or we got sick of them, we could move on to a different game, and we had options. And that's what we miss. That's what they've taken away from us. So if you're going to be the only guy out there, make a quality game. And if you're not, then like you said, and like Giant Blue said last week, enough with the circus, enough with these claims that you're the best in the, best in class, best in the class. I mean, best in class of what? What class are you in? You're in the only person in the freaking room. You're best in the class where it's like so anyways, so whatever. We've
you about to get started up again?
I'm about to, man. And I hate when I do it because it's like, for what, and it's good. It's fine. I hope that you guys out there, you enjoyed the show. I enjoyed talking to you, Gedden. I'm having a great time doing this. I know it's a lot of
flies, man.
Time flies. That's why I was telling you about the show. It's like this show could easily go 2 hours. crazy, man. And we don't even have any.
um,
We don't even have any guests on tonight.
yeah, I know. Yeah, one thing, Rex gets really happy when he wins his one-man race.
That's what he's doing. He has the keys.
Yeah.
He has the keys to the whole entire, football industry, and he's happy about it. He's happy to own everything. It's like that spoiled brat, millionaire daughter that has everything that she wants, and he loves to tell us about it. So, all right, well, listen. For those of you guys who are watching the show, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching us. The show is growing. I know it's going to take time, and hopefully we can get more and more people. Tell your friends, tweet it out. We need to get more people on this train so that we can hopefully get a better product. And if any of you guys want to bring a special guest on here that are making the games that are out there that, are looking to compete with Madden, or even the guys that make Madden, or the old school, APF and 2K developers, those kind of guys too, bring them on, and we'd love to talk to them and have a show where we can express, at least our feelings towards, how we feel, right, with the community, with the games. And not to get long-winded, but we are on iTunes, we are on Stitcher. Go out there and check us out there. Hopefully the quality of the audio gets better. We're trying, we're not professionals, but we appreciate every one of you guys out there in the chat. And we're having fun. We're having fun. So
yes, sir.
So I'll let you. You can say your goodbyes, Gedden, but we'll catch you not next week. Next week's Thanksgiving. We're going to be a little bit busy next week. I'm going to be out of town, and Gedden's got some things going on. So we're going to skip next week. We'll be on the week after, but I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Yes, sir. Thank you for everybody viewing. I see the 10 or the 15 people that are in the chat room all the time. Thank you so much. Please share the video. Make sure people know that we're on at 8 o'clock every Tuesday. We've gotten sharper with that. I think the last 2 weeks we've been right on time. So yeah, we're here. We're dedicating the show to you guys. We want to make the show better, and believe me, we definitely will be making the show better. And thank you for all your support, guys. And make sure you share. Make sure you get busy in the comments, not just the live comments, but the rebroadcast comments too. We need to get people talking there. Once we get people talking there, they're going to share it. They're going to come back to the video, give us a little bit more views and all that type of stuff. So thank you again for viewing. Javo, it's always a pleasure talking to you, bro.
You too, man.
I really do like this show. I look forward to it every week, actually. But yeah, man, thanks, and good night to everybody.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Peace.